Hi, this is Mr. Stanley, and I want to take a few minutes to share with you, on behalf of the APUS History Learning Team, a little bit about the course and the requirements for those of you who are interested in signing up for it. The course is broken into 9 periods of time. The first 2, from 1491 to 1754, is a period of time that we're going to ask you to do most of your reading and note-taking over the summer. So this is the basis for the summer work, which I'll reference later, so that when we get to school in August, this will be behind us, and we'll spend some time going over this, but then we're going to jump right into really the period of time just before and after the American Revolution. Following that, as we head to the middle of the fall, we're covering basically the 50 years after the establishment or the creation of the country. And then finally, we're going to end up with the events surrounding the United States Civil War, the stuff leading up to it, as well as what happened after it. And then in the second semester, we're going to jump into really industrialization and the 50 years from 1850 into about 1900, and then cover the period of time from basically World War I, World War II, what's going on there, progressive era, until finally the period after the so-called post-war period, after World War II, to about 1980. And then the last period is basically 1980 to present. Now, this being an AP class, much of the course content is defined, or the scope is defined by the College Board, and it's broken out into these 8 themes that really serve as kind of connecting tissue. And as we go through this, there are 3 kinds of reasoning things that we look for, that we're going to be focusing on, that a lot of the questions that you'll be faced with and be given deal with these 3 kinds of historical reasoning processes. And comparison, causation, and continuity. And we're going to help you identify these and figure out how to respond well to them and so forth. And then there are basically these 6 major skills in terms of that we were going to work with you on, both thinking and writing and so forth, that are there as well. Now, this represents the actual AP exam. And I'm not going to lie, everyone, it's a bit of a beast. Those of you who have taken or will be taking the AP World class, or eventually AP Euro, will know this is a beast, and will be facing very much the same thing. 3¼ hours long, 55 multiple choice questions, which it's about a minute per question, and most of the questions have some sort of an image, a graph, a map, a quote that you then analyze about that. Followed by 3 short answer questions. You'll get 40 minutes for those. And effectively, in each of the short answer questions, there are embedded 3 smaller questions. Then you get a short break, and then you get 2 essays. One, the document-based essay, which involves 7 documents and writing a response to the prompt, integrating in those 7 documents, and then the picking from one of 3 possible long essay questions, which are just drawn literally from your own knowledge. So we're not messing around here, and it's a lot. If you're interested, this is what you're facing. Okay, and as a result, much of the writing we're doing and much of the writing skills are going to be based on the short answer, long essay, and the document-based questions to prep you for that. So then what do you expect? Well, I've mentioned the summer homework. There is obviously a lot of writing, and the pacing in order to get through this much content means that you should expect, to be reading 10 to 15 pages of the textbook in preparation for each class. Sometimes this is supplemented by doing some additional writing analysis or document analysis of outside articles. We give you other videos and so on and so forth to watch. So you need to be thinking you're going to be spending at least an hour, maybe probably a little bit more, to prep for each class. Now, So that's a lot of preparation. Now, when you get to class, if you're the kind of student who likes kind of sit back and not really talk that much and so forth, and not really get engaged, this may not be a good class, because we really need you all to lean into class as we're doing it. That may be a thing. So what are the key differences? Well, obviously we're prepping for the exam. That means that for a number of reasons, the outcomes of that, because we're prepping for the exam, we don't get to define the content. If you take just the regular college prep U.S. history, your teachers have a lot more flexibility to kind of dive into interesting stuff, pause, slow down, do projects that, let's make a video, or let's do this, that, and the other thing. Here we're driven by doing this kind of coverage. The pacing we've already talked about. It's probably going to be a little bit, in many cases, a little bit more demanding and so forth. And then the skills, obviously, as we've talked a little bit about, which means again that we're working on a set of skills that are defined for us, which are great skills and be very useful in college and so on and so forth. But it's a little bit more in depth. Focus on document analysis and expressing yourself, following the forms needed for the essays and so on. And then, of course, taking the AP exam, which I want to point out is a requirement. If you're going to take the class, you got to take the AP exam. Okay, so textbook is this one we just refer to it as Henrietta, America's History, 8th edition. Comes in every variety you can get. So, you want digital, paperback, and so on and so forth. Now, for your consideration, this is a section of the presentation where I want you just to think about, okay, in balance, here's some other things, just weighing this out with some of your choices. Obviously, if you're somebody who's like, I'm a good reader, I'm a good writer, I'm solid, I can do this, okay, it's a good match. You need to think about how many other AP classes you're taking. This is going to be soaking up a bunch of time and requires a commitment. So if you're planning on taking 4, 5 other AP classes, it may not be a good match. I can't say that I'm jumping up and down about this. I think you might want to dial it back. And especially then consider all the other things that you have going. This is just taken from somebody you all have really interesting and other involvements that you're doing at school, and you need to balance this out to see if this do I want to be making this kind of a commitment and all the other things you're going to be doing here at school. Automatic eligibility. You will be eligible to take this. We will invite you to sign up if, route 1, you have a cumulative GPA of 3.25, and on the PSAT, you scored an 80% or higher on the evidence-based reading and writing, and your AP predictor score falls within the range that we're looking for. Or if you're already a student in AP World History and in the future, or AP European History, and you get an A in that class for the fall semester, and you have a cumulative GPA of 3.25, great. You're in. And however, if none of these work, then process is basically that you will take a test. It's just 3 short response questions that we use to test your writing and critical thinking skills. It's not really about content knowledge. We're really looking about just those your ability to think and think through and so on and so forth. If you've already qualified, you will or you already have received an email, and we hope that you'll come by and see us during the academic fair. If you have not received an email and did not automatically qualify, you have to come to to the test-in session, which will be during a founders period, and all this information will be shared and posted with you on Schoology. So that's a quick overview of the class. We look forward to seeing and talking with you. And of course, if you have any questions about it, please come see Mr. Sanso, Ms. Reese, or myself, Mr. Stanley, with any questions. And thank you all very much.